the human fleet slowly approached the massive structure of the Galactic Council. Ships of every shape and size filled the space around the station, glowing softly under the light of nearby stars. Mina stood on the bridge of the lead ship, staring out at the council station. Her heart beat faster than usual. It was her first time here, and the galaxy was watching. Beside her, Daejun adjusted the controls quietly, his eyes sharp, while Haein checked the communication lines to ensure everything was ready. None of them carried weapons, not even sidearms, and they knew every alien I would notice. As they moved closer, the other members of the council observed them with suspicion. Humans were unpredictable. The Veltrax commander, a tall being with shimmering green skin, raised his eyes and whispered to his advisors. The Zorathians, with their many arms and floating heads, tilted as if trying to get a better look at the unarmed humans. Every ship in the station turned toward the lead human ship, making Mina feel the weight of their stares. Inside the council, discussions began quietly. The humans had requested a formal audience, and now the elders were debating whether to accept them without weapons. Daejun, noticing the tension, sent a calm signal to the council, indicating peaceful intentions. This small gesture seemed to ease some suspicion, but not all. The human delegation knew they had to show strength in a different way, through intelligence, logic, and restraint. When they entered the docking bay, the humans were surrounded by council guards, but they did not resist. Mina stepped forward with a smile, showing respect. Her posture was confident yet calm. Haein followed, carrying the council documents they had prepared. Daejun stayed near the ship, watching for any signs of hostility. The aliens exchanged glances, clearly confused by the lack of weapons and the calmness of the humans. In the main chamber, the council elders observed the humans closely. Mina began speaking, her voice clear and steady. She explained that Earth sought to maintain peace in the galaxy. They were aware of the ongoing conflicts, but their presence was meant to discuss a plan for cooperation and safety. The aliens listened, some with curiosity, others with doubt. No one had expected humans to act this way. The humans were smaller in number compared to other species, but their confidence commanded attention. A Veltrax commander stepped forward, his voice harsh. He asked why the humans would arrive unarmed while the galaxy was in turmoil. Mina answered carefully, explaining that humanity had the capability to defend itself, but their goal was to avoid violence if possible. She hinted at a secret that Earth possessed, a power that could influence entire fleets, but she did not reveal details yet. The room grew silent. Whispers passed through the council, and the Zorathians floated closer, curious and alert. While the discussions continued, Daejun noticed a strange movement near one of the docking bays. A small ship was moving against traffic patterns, possibly a scout from a rogue faction. He quietly alerted Mina, and she nodded, signaling the human fleet to monitor the intruder without causing alarm. They were unarmed, but their strategy relied on observation, intelligence, and subtle control of the situation. The aliens around them were beginning to realize that humans were not naive. Haein handed over the prepared documents to the council elder. The papers contained detailed plans for collaboration, trade, and intelligence sharing. The humans wanted to build trust, but they also wanted to remind everyone that Earth was not weak. Mina spoke again, carefully outlining the benefits of cooperation and the dangers of underestimating humanity. Her words were simple but persuasive. The council members, even the skeptics, began to see that these humans were unusual. They did not rely on weapons or brute force, but on knowledge, preparation, and foresight. Suddenly, the doors to the chamber opened, and a messenger rushed in. He reported a fleet movement in the outer system, one that could threaten the docking area. The humans remained calm. Daejun directed sensors toward the activity, and Haein coordinated communication lines with the fleet. The rogue faction seemed small, but their intention was clear. The council members looked to the humans, unsure how they would react. Mina remained composed, showing no fear, only calculated focus. The aliens were starting to understand that humans were not ordinary. The council chamber was tense. Each alien species had its own opinion, and the humans listened carefully. Mina proposed a temporary alliance for mutual observation and sharing of information about potential threats. The idea was risky, but the humans' calm demeanor and clear logic convinced some of the members. Slowly, the tension began to shift. Even the Veltrax commander nodded slightly, acknowledging that the humans were a force to respect, even without weapons. Outside, the human fleet maintained a careful distance, watching all movements. The rogue scout ship retreated when it realized the humans were aware of its presence. Daejun allowed himself a small smile. This was exactly what they wanted, to demonstrate awareness and strategy without engaging in combat. It was a subtle show of power, one that only required brains and discipline. Mina concluded the first meeting with a reminder. Earth wished peace, but the humans were prepared for any threat. She hinted again at the secret they carried, enough to make the council uneasy but not alarmed. The aliens understood that humans had a purpose, a plan, and an unexpected strength. The meeting ended with cautious respect. The humans left the chamber, their heads held high, and the council members whispered among themselves. Humans had arrived unarmed, but they had already made their presence felt in the galaxy. As the humans returned to their ship, Mina looked at Daejun and Haein. "This is only the beginning," she said softly. "The galaxy has underestimated us for too long." They nodded, understanding that diplomacy was their first weapon, and restraint their greatest strength. Outside, the stars shimmered as the council observed them. Humanity had arrived, unarmed yet unbroken, and the galaxy had begun to take notice. The humans gathered in a smaller chamber within the council station, away from prying eyes. Mina, Daejun, and Haein sat with their translators and communication devices, preparing to reveal the purpose of their visit in more detail. The council members were curious, though many were still skeptical. Humans had arrived unarmed, and now they claimed to carry a secret that could affect the entire galaxy. No one knew exactly what to expect. Mina spoke first, her voice calm but firm. She explained that Earth had been quietly developing a powerful energy system capable of defending against massive attacks. It was not designed for offense, she emphasized, but for protection. Daejun added that the system could, if misused, destroy entire fleets. The aliens shifted uncomfortably. The thought of humans holding such power was unsettling. The Zorathians floated closer, their multiple eyes narrowing in curiosity. The Veltrax commander scowled but listened carefully. Haein handed a data tablet to one of the council elders. It contained detailed schematics and calculations, showing the potential of Earth's technology without revealing all secrets. The humans were careful. They wanted to impress the council with the magnitude of their achievement without giving away strategic details. The council members studied the tablet in silence, whispering among themselves. The more they saw, the more they understood that Earth was not as weak as it seemed. While the council debated, Daejun monitored the station's sensors. He noticed unusual movement near the docking bays. A small vessel was approaching, attempting to go unnoticed. He immediately alerted Mina, who signaled the fleet to stay alert but not react. Humans had learned long ago that a careful observation could prevent more conflicts than a fight. The aliens around them started to notice that humans were unusually patient and precise. Mina addressed the council again, stressing the importance of cooperation. She explained that rogue factions existed in the galaxy, ones that sought to exploit weaknesses. Humans had chosen diplomacy and intelligence over aggression to prevent unnecessary wars. The council members exchanged glances. Some were convinced, others remained doubtful. The humans knew it would take time for trust to form, but they had started the process. Suddenly, the sensors detected a pattern of fleet movement from a nearby system. It was a rogue group, small in number but dangerous. Daejun quickly calculated potential threat zones and suggested strategies to the council for early detection and defense. Mina added that humans had developed tactics that allowed fleets to avoid confrontation while remaining safe. The aliens listened, intrigued by humans' ability to think several steps ahead without relying on weapons. It was a new concept for many of them. Haein spoke next, emphasizing that the humans' presence was not a threat but a demonstration of responsibility. They showed the Council that even a small group with advanced knowledge could influence galactic events without bloodshed. The Veltrax commander still looked doubtful but could not hide a flicker of respect. The Council began to realize that humans combined intelligence, strategy, and diplomacy in a way they had not expected. The whispers around the room grew quieter as the humans' argument gained strength. During a short break, Daejun reviewed fleet positions. He noticed minor anomalies, ships appearing where they shouldn't, possibly scouts from rogue factions. He informed Mina and Heian, who immediately coordinated with the Council's observation team. The humans suggested surveillance rather than attack, reinforcing their philosophy of caution and precision. The aliens started to understand that humans valued control over chaos, foresight over force. Their unarmed approach made sense in this context. Mina decided to give a careful hint about Earth's secret without revealing full capabilities. She described the energy system as having potential to protect entire colonies, fleets, and planets if directed responsibly. The Council members gasped quietly. The Veltrax commander's eyes widened. Even the Zorathians looked intrigued, realizing that humans had prepared for scenarios most species could not imagine. Humans were small in number but had mastered foresight and strategy. Suddenly, alarms sounded in the station. The rogue scout ship had been detected near one of the outer docks. The Council members looked panicked, unsure how to respond. Daejun calmly coordinated with Earth's fleet, guiding them to observe the ship's movement. Mina stood and spoke to the Council, assuring them that humans had handled similar situations many times before. She reminded the Council that restraint and careful planning could prevent disasters. The aliens watched, impressed by the humans' composure. The rogue ship attempted a sudden maneuver, likely testing the humans' fleet. Heian quickly relayed sensor data to the Council. Daejun suggested a subtle adjustment in fleet positions, making it clear that humans were aware of all threats. The rogue vessel retreated, realizing its mission would fail without direct confrontation. The Council members murmured among themselves. The humans had shown control and strategy without firing a single weapon. Mina addressed the Council one final time before the session ended. She reminded them that Earth sought peace but would not allow threats to escalate unchecked. She hinted at the secret energy system as a final warning. Humans could change the balance of power if provoked. The aliens sat silently, absorbing the full weight of her words. Even the skeptical Veltrax commander gave a small nod, acknowledging that humans had power and wisdom in equal measure. As the humans returned to their ship, they discussed quietly among themselves. Mina said, "The Council is starting to understand. We have shown them restraint and intelligence. That is our real strength." Daejun nodded, adding, "Observation and strategy always come first. Weapons are only a last resort." Heian smiled, knowing they had successfully planted the seeds of respect and caution. Outside, the stars shone brightly. The humans' fleet maintained its positions, quietly monitoring all movements. Even though they were unarmed, their presence and careful actions had demonstrated that humans were not to be underestimated. The Council had begun to see humans as more than diplomats. They were thinkers, planners, and guardians. The rogue factions would think twice before testing Earth, and the galaxy had learned that restraint could be as powerful as any weapon. The session ended with cautious optimism. Humans had arrived unarmed, yet they had already made a significant impact. The Council now viewed them with respect, and whispers of Earth's secret spread quietly, increasing the humans' reputation. Mina, Daejun, and Heian looked at each other with satisfaction, knowing this was only the beginning. The galaxy had seen the humans' approach, intelligence, diplomacy, and careful strategy. Their mission was far from over, but they had successfully shown that sometimes, strength came without weapons. Humans had arrived, unarmed yet formidable, and the galaxy had begun to take notice of the quiet power Earth held. The tension in the Council station grew as news arrived of a rogue faction moving a fleet near the outer systems. Mina, Daejun, and Heian stood on the bridge of their ship, observing the approaching vessels. The humans remained calm despite the clear threat. They were unarmed, yet their confidence never wavered. The aliens around them noticed this and whispered among themselves, curious about how such small numbers could face such danger. Daejun adjusted the fleet formation subtly, making sure the human ships were in positions that maximized observation while minimizing exposure. He communicated silently with Hae-in, who was coordinating with the Council's sensors. Every movement was precise and calculated. The rogue fleet approached cautiously, unaware that the humans had anticipated their path. Mina watched the stars, her mind calculating the possible strategies. She knew that demonstrating restraint could be more powerful than striking first. Inside the Council, members of the Veltrax and Zorathian factions debated whether to intervene. The humans had no weapons, yet they seemed confident enough to handle the situation. Some Council members argued that humans were reckless, while others suspected they had hidden capabilities. Mina spoke calmly to the Council through the translation system, reminding them that patience and strategy could prevent unnecessary conflict. The aliens listened, intrigued by the humans' composure. Hae-in's console beeped urgently. A small ship from the rogue fleet had broken formation and was approaching the human fleet, likely as a scout. Daejun immediately suggested a defensive maneuver that would protect the human ships without engaging in combat. Mina approved, and the fleet executed the movement smoothly. The rogue ship paused, scanning the human formation, but could not find a weakness. It finally retreated, and the Council observed this carefully, realizing that humans had used strategy rather than force to influence the situation. Mina decided it was time to further demonstrate Earth's intelligence and foresight. She addressed the Council, explaining that humans had developed advanced simulations that could predict enemy movements and potential threats with extreme accuracy. The Council members leaned closer, impressed by the humans' method of defense. Mina explained that the simulations were only part of a larger system capable of protecting entire fleets and planets if used responsibly. The aliens were beginning to understand that humans combined clever planning with caution, a rare combination in the galaxy. While the Council listened, Daejun continued monitoring the rogue fleet's movements. He noticed minor anomalies, ships appearing and disappearing from sensors, likely small scouts attempting to observe the human fleet unnoticed. He quietly relayed this to Mina, who signaled Hae-in to adjust communications and sensors accordingly. They were showing the Council that even without weapons, humans could control the situation with intelligence and vigilance. The aliens began to see the humans' calmness as a form of power, not weakness. Suddenly, a message arrived from the rogue fleet. It was a challenge testing the humans' abilities. Mina and her team discussed quickly and decided to respond diplomatically. They projected a holographic display showing simulated scenarios where the rogue fleet could be neutralized if provoked. The display was carefully crafted, showing power without aggression. The Council members gasped quietly, realizing that humans were capable of far more than they appeared. The Veltrax commander's expression shifted from doubt to cautious respect. The rogue fleet hesitated. They could see the human strategic advantage and realized that an attack could result in total loss. The aliens in the Council whispered among themselves, acknowledging that humans had effectively controlled the situation without firing a single weapon. Mina spoke to the Council again, emphasizing that intelligence, observation, and strategy were humans' true weapons. The message was clear: humans could protect themselves and influence events without violence. Hae-in noted subtle signs of further rogue movement. Several ships were positioning near critical Council supply routes, likely attempting to create panic. Daejun quickly devised a series of maneuvers that would allow the human fleet to monitor these ships while keeping the Council station safe. The humans executed the plan seamlessly. The rogue ships realized they could not outmaneuver the humans, and they began to retreat slowly. The Council members observed quietly, gaining a newfound respect for the humans' tactical approach. Mina addressed the Council one last time during the session. She reminded them that Earth's mission was not conquest but protection and cooperation. She hinted at the secret energy system once more, carefully avoiding revealing all details. The message was subtle but effective. Humans had the capacity to change the balance of power if necessary, but they preferred peace. The council members were silent, digesting the full weight of her words. Even the most skeptical Veltrax commander nodded slightly, acknowledging the humans' combination of intellect and caution. As the humans prepared to leave the chamber, Daejun reviewed fleet positions one more time. Haein coordinated the final sensor sweeps, ensuring no threats went unnoticed. Mina smiled at her team. They had successfully demonstrated that humans could handle threats without aggression. The council had seen strategy, intelligence, and restraint in action, and the humans' reputation was growing. Outside, the human fleet maintained its positions, quietly monitoring the stars. The rogue factions had retreated, recognizing the human strength in foresight and strategy. The council was beginning to respect Earth's approach. Brains over brawn, patience over rash action. Mina, Daejun, and Haein looked at each other with quiet satisfaction, knowing they had shown the galaxy that humans were clever, disciplined, and capable of shaping events without violence. The stars outside seemed brighter, as if signaling the humans' growing presence and influence. The galaxy was beginning to understand that unarmed humans could be more powerful than anyone had anticipated. Mina, Daejun, and Haein returned to the council chamber to continue negotiations. The aliens were still cautious but more attentive now. The humans had already shown restraint and intelligence, and the council members could no longer dismiss them. Mina stepped forward and spoke clearly, explaining that Earth had prepared strategies to prevent conflicts and protect both allies and neutral parties. She emphasized cooperation, showing that humans sought a peaceful galaxy, but were ready to defend themselves and others if necessary. Daejun presented data simulations of potential rogue attacks. The holographic displays highlighted how humans could use strategy and observation to anticipate moves and prevent escalation. The council members leaned forward, impressed by the clarity and detail. Haein spoke about communication networks that could detect suspicious activity across multiple systems, showing that humans were not only intelligent but also prepared and proactive. The aliens whispered among themselves, realizing humans were unique in the galaxy. Mina then gave a subtle hint about the secret energy system on Earth. She described it as a protective mechanism for entire fleets and colonies. The council members gasped softly, recognizing the gravity of humans' capabilities. Even the Veltrax commander, who had been skeptical from the beginning, showed a flicker of respect. The humans had effectively conveyed power without aggression, and the council was beginning to take them seriously. While discussions continued, Daejun monitored the outer sectors. He noticed unusual fleet movements, likely scouts from rogue factions. Haein coordinated sensor sweeps and relayed the information to the council in real time. Mina suggested subtle maneuvers to the human fleet, showing that even unarmed humans could control and influence the situation. The rogue scouts hesitated and then withdrew, realizing they could not outsmart the humans. The council members watched silently, increasingly aware that humans were skilled tacticians. Mina addressed the council again, stressing that humans valued restraint over violence. She explained that their strength lay in intelligence, foresight, and planning. The humans had already demonstrated their capability by managing threats without direct confrontation. The council began to understand that Earth's approach was different from other species, who often relied on brute force or intimidation. Humans had taught them a new form of power, one that relied on patience, strategy, and careful observation. The rogue fleet sent another scout, attempting to challenge the humans' influence. Daejun detected the vessel and calculated a series of subtle movements that would monitor it without escalating the situation. Haein implemented the changes in real time. The council members whispered, noticing how humans managed potential threats without aggression. Mina spoke to the aliens, explaining that the goal was not to show dominance but to demonstrate responsibility. The message resonated. Humans were teaching the galaxy a lesson in self-control and strategy. Mina then proposed a plan to the council. She suggested forming an alliance for observation and intelligence sharing, allowing all species to detect rogue factions early and avoid unnecessary wars. The council members debated, but the humans' calm and logical approach swayed many of them. Even the most cautious species began to see the benefits of cooperation. The humans' patience and clear strategy were more effective than any weapon. During the negotiations, Heian noticed minor anomalies in the Council's outer systems. Several ships were positioning themselves near important supply routes. Daejun quickly devised maneuvers to monitor these ships while keeping the Council station safe. The humans executed the plan seamlessly, showing control and foresight without firing a single shot. The rogue vessels slowly retreated, understanding that humans were not easily outmaneuvered. The Council members began to see humans as a serious and intelligent force. Mina addressed the Council once more, emphasizing that Earth wished for peace but would not allow threats to escalate unchecked. She carefully referenced the secret energy system as a final warning. The aliens understood that humans had a power capable of influencing events, but they preferred to avoid conflict. The Veltrax commander, previously skeptical, now nodded slightly, acknowledging the humans' intelligence and strategic skill. The Council was silent, absorbing the weight of Mina's words. As the humans prepared to leave, they discussed their observations quietly among themselves. Mina said, "The Council is beginning to understand. We have shown them our restraint and intelligence. That is our strength." Daejun agreed, adding, "Observation and strategy are our first weapons. Violence is only a last resort." Heian smiled, knowing that they had successfully demonstrated humans' ability to manage threats with intelligence rather than force. Outside, the human fleet maintained careful positions, monitoring the galaxy silently. The rogue factions had retreated, realizing that humans could not be easily outsmarted. The Council now recognized that Earth had introduced a new form of power: intellect, patience, and foresight. Mina, Daejun, and Heian looked at each other with satisfaction, understanding that humans had proven their capability to influence events and protect the galaxy without weapons. The stars outside seemed brighter, reflecting the humans' growing reputation and presence in the galaxy. Humans had arrived, unarmed but formidable, and the galaxy had begun to take note of their quiet but undeniable strength. The humans returned to their ship after the Council meeting, their faces calm but alert. Mina, Daejun, and Heian knew that the galaxy had begun to recognize the presence and power of humanity. They were unarmed, yet their actions had proven that humans could influence events without aggression. The Council's opinion had shifted. The aliens were beginning to respect Earth's intelligence and foresight. The rogue factions were cautious, realizing that humans could not be underestimated. Mina spoke quietly to her team. "We have shown them that restraint is our greatest strength. They are beginning to understand the real power humans hold." Daejun nodded, keeping an eye on the sensors. "Our observation and strategy are enough to control threats without firing a single shot," he said. Heian smiled, satisfied with the results. They had completed the first stage of their mission, proving that humans were clever, disciplined, and capable of managing conflicts intelligently. The Council had requested a final report from the humans before they left. Mina presented a clear summary of the observations, the rogue faction's movements, and the measures humans had taken to monitor and prevent escalation. The aliens listened carefully, impressed by the precision and foresight shown by the humans. Even the Veltrax commander, who had doubted them initially, nodded in quiet acknowledgement. The humans had earned respect without ever showing weapons, proving that power was not only measured in strength but in wisdom. Outside the Council station, the human fleet maintained positions, silently monitoring the galaxy. Daejun noticed that the rogue factions were retreating, realizing that any attempt to challenge Earth would be unwise. Heian coordinated communications with the Council, making sure that all information was shared and that potential threats were tracked. Mina observed the stars, thinking about the future. She knew that humanity's unarmed approach had changed perceptions in the galaxy. The humans had demonstrated that intelligence and strategy could be more powerful than brute force. While returning to their ship, Mina reflected on the secret energy system of Earth. She understood that it was a tool of immense potential, capable of influencing fleets and entire systems if used irresponsibly. But humans had chosen restraint. They would only use this power to protect their home and allies. The galaxy had begun to recognize that humans were not to be underestimated. The aliens had seen the calm precision with which humans managed threats, and whispers of Earth's capabilities were spreading quietly throughout the council. Daejun and Haein continued monitoring sensor readings from the fleet. Several rogue ships were still active at a distance, but they showed no interest in approaching humans. The aliens had learned caution. Humans had proven that being unarmed did not mean being weak. Mina addressed her team. We have taught the galaxy that humans think differently. We use observation, strategy, and intelligence as our weapons. Haein nodded, adding, this is only the beginning. The galaxy now knows that humans are capable and not easily challenged. The council formally thanked the humans for their presence and insights. Even the most skeptical members had recognized the value humans brought to the table. Cooperation, intelligence sharing, and observation networks were now topics of interest for the entire council. Humans had introduced a new concept of power, one that did not rely on aggression but on careful planning and foresight. Mina felt a quiet satisfaction. Their mission had been successful. As the humans prepared to depart, they received messages from various factions in the council expressing respect and a desire to maintain communication. Mina, Daejun, and Haein understood that Earth had established itself as a force to be reckoned with in the galaxy. Their presence had shifted the balance, not through weapons, but through intellect and strategy. The secret of Earth's energy system remained hidden, known only to the humans, preserving an element of uncertainty that ensured respect and caution from others. On the way back to Earth, Mina looked out at the stars and said, the galaxy has begun to see humans as more than diplomats. We are thinkers, planners, and protectors. Our mission is far from over, but we have made the first mark. Daejun smiled. They now know that humans act with intelligence and patience, not recklessness. Haein added, and that knowledge alone is enough to change perceptions. The human fleet continued its journey, silent but powerful in its presence. The stars stretched endlessly, a reminder that the galaxy was vast and full of potential threats, but also full of opportunities for diplomacy and cooperation. The humans had arrived unarmed, yet they had proven their strength through wisdom, foresight, and careful strategy. The galaxy had taken notice, and Earth's quiet power had begun to shape interstellar relations. Mina, Daejun, and Haein understood that their actions would have long-lasting effects, influencing how humans would be perceived and respected in the years to come. As the fleet approached the outer systems of Earth, Mina took a final glance at the council station, knowing that the humans' presence had changed the course of galactic politics. The council had seen restraint and intelligence in action, and rogue factions had learned caution. The humans had arrived unarmed, yet they had shown the galaxy that true power could come from intelligence, strategy, and careful planning. The stars shimmered ahead, carrying the promise of future challenges and the quiet strength of humanity, ready to defend Earth and the fleet if ever needed.